If you've been working hard, thinking positive, visualizing success, and still find yourself stuck, there's a reason. But it's not what you think. Most people give up right before the breakthrough. They quit just inches from the goal because they misunderstand a universal law that governs all achievement. You've been told to hustle. You've been told to grind. But has anyone told you why the results are delayed? Why, despite your effort, faith, and action, the success hasn't shown up yet? The answer lies not in what you see, but in what you believe long enough to bring into form. In this message, we're going to uncover the silent barrier between you and the results you seek. Not through hype, not through guesswork, but through timeless truth that has powered every lasting success story in history. There is a truth so profound, yet so often misunderstood, that it acts as the invisible force separating those who achieve lasting success from those who endlessly struggle. This truth centers around the power of faith, faith not as a fleeting emotion or a wishful hope, but as a persistent, unwavering belief that your desired outcome is already in the process of becoming your reality. Most people think faith means simply believing that something might happen. They think it is a passive feeling that can come and go dependent on circumstances. But true faith is not a mere feeling. It is a deep-rooted conviction so powerful that it holds your mind steady and your spirit unwavering regardless of external conditions. It is the mental attitude of absolute certainty that what you desire is inevitable. It is this kind of faith that unlocks the door to unseen forces that work ceaselessly to bring your vision to life. Consider this: the universe is governed by laws. Laws as exact and unyielding as the law of gravity. One such law is the law of belief, which states that what the mind can clearly conceive and firmly believe it can achieve. But the critical word here is firmly. Without firmness, belief wavers, and so does the process of manifestation. Doubt creeps in, fear undermines confidence, and the very thought patterns meant to summon success instead repel it. Persistent faith serves as a beacon during the darkest hours when results have not yet appeared. It is this faith that turns waiting into a form of active preparation rather than passive frustration. It is what keeps the individual moving forward with vigor, even when the world around them seems to offer no encouragement. This faith understands that the visible world is but a reflection of the invisible mind, and that what appears delayed or absent is merely a natural part of the unseen process. In the absence of persistent faith, many fall into the trap of impatience and discouragement. They begin to question whether their efforts are worth the price. They start looking for immediate proof or signs, and when these don't come, they reduce their conviction and abandon their goals. This is the fatal error. Results rarely appear overnight because the mind, the body, and the surrounding circumstances require time to adjust and align with the new reality you are commanding. Faith is not blind optimism. It is a deliberate and purposeful mental habit. It requires feeding your mind with the conviction that your purpose is just beyond the horizon, and holding on to this conviction despite temporary setbacks or contradictory evidence. This mental habit is strengthened by repetition through daily affirmations, visualization, and by refusing to entertain doubts long enough for them to take root. Your mind becomes like a garden. The thoughts you nurture will grow, whether they be seeds of faith or seeds of doubt. Imagine a seed planted in the soil. To the casual observer, nothing happens for weeks. But underneath the surface, invisible to the eye, roots are pushing deep into the earth, drawing nourishment, preparing for the shoot to break through. If the gardener were to dig up the seed too soon, out of impatience or disbelief, the plant would never grow. Faith works the same way. It allows the unseen roots of your success to develop in secret until the time is right for visible growth. This principle can be seen in every great success story throughout history. The men and women who have achieved extraordinary results did not simply hope things would get better. They possessed a rock-solid faith that what they sought was already on its way. They faced delays, failures, and criticism, yet their faith remained unshaken. This faith acted as a magnet, pulling resources, opportunities, and people into alignment with their vision. The power of persistent faith also extends beyond just belief in success. It influences how your mind interacts with the subconscious, the part of you that controls habits, emotions, and deep-seated beliefs. When your conscious mind holds unwavering faith, it impresses this belief upon the subconscious, which then directs your actions and reactions in a way that supports your goal. Without persistent faith, the subconscious mind remains conflicted or dominated by fears and doubts, sabotaging efforts and manifesting failure instead. Faith is, in essence, the spiritual engine of achievement. It charges your imagination, infuses your actions with purpose, and sharpens your focus. But it is important to recognize that faith without corresponding action is incomplete. Faith that remains a mere mental exercise without being backed by consistent, aligned effort will fade. However, faith combined with persistent, purposeful action is unstoppable because it sets into motion a chain of events that ripple outward, often beyond your immediate control or understanding. The struggle many face in seeing results is often not due to a lack of effort or desire, but due to a fragile faith that crumbles in the face of resistance. Resistance comes in many forms. criticism from others, unexpected obstacles, internal self-doubt. But the individual who masters the power of persistent faith learns to regard these challenges as temporary tests of commitment rather than permanent barriers. In cultivating persistent faith, it helps to create a clear mental picture of your success. This vision acts as a lodestar that your faith can cling to when the storm of uncertainty blows. The more vivid and emotionally charged this vision is, the stronger your faith becomes. The imagination fueled by faith is a powerful creative force. It transcends the limitations of present circumstances and projects the mind into a future already won. Moreover, faith is deeply intertwined with gratitude. When you are grateful for what you already have, you signal to your subconscious and the universe that you are in harmony with abundance. Gratitude softens resistance, enhances belief, and accelerates manifestation. Without gratitude, faith tends to waver because the mind focuses on lack rather than possibility. Persistent faith is also a practice of patience. It recognizes that some things cannot be rushed because they require time to mature fully. The soil, the seed, and the weather must all be just right before growth is visible. Similarly, your mind, your environment, and your resources must align before results become apparent. Faith is the trust in this natural process, the understanding that the absence of visible evidence is not evidence of absence. In this light, the yet in the title is a powerful word. It acknowledges that you are on a path that results have not manifested, but they are still coming. It invites a shift in perspective from frustration to expectancy. When faith is persistent, the word yet transforms from a barrier into a bridge, carrying you from where you are now to where you intend to be. The foundation of every achievement, no matter how grand or humble, is a clear and definite purpose. Without it, your journey toward success becomes like a ship lost at sea, drifting aimlessly and vulnerable to every storm. The power of definiteness of purpose is often underestimated, yet it remains the single most critical factor in turning dreams into tangible results. When your purpose is vague or scattered, your energy dissipates. You may find yourself drawn in multiple directions, chasing opportunities that promise quick wins, trying to please others, or simply reacting to circumstances instead of controlling them. This lack of focus creates confusion within your mind and sends mixed signals to your subconscious, which thrives on clear instructions. The subconscious, which governs habits and automatic responses, cannot work effectively when it does not understand exactly what you want. Definiteness of purpose means having a crystal clear understanding of what you want to achieve. It is the mental blueprint of your success, detailed and specific. When your purpose is defined, your mind becomes a powerful magnet, attracting ideas, people, and resources that align with that goal. It also acts as a filter, allowing you to say no to distractions and detours that do not serve your objective. The human mind is a goal-seeking mechanism. When you plant a specific goal deep enough in your thoughts, your subconscious sets about working toward it, even without your conscious awareness. The deeper this process to function optimally, the goal must be definite and concrete. General desires like, I want to be successful, or I want to be rich, lack the precision necessary to stimulate action and direct energy effectively. Instead, when you articulate a definite purpose, such as, I will earn a specific amount by a certain date, or I will build a business that serves a specific need, you create a clear target for your mind to focus on. Without definiteness of purpose, your faith, the very force that drives success, loses its anchor. Faith to be effective requires a target to latch onto. It is like trying to hit a bullseye in the dark. You may swing, you may try, but without knowing exactly what you are aiming for, the chances of hitting the mark are slim. The mind and faith must be aligned with a definite aim to unlock their full power. Furthermore, definiteness of purpose shapes your daily actions. Every step you take must be in service of that purpose. Without it, you risk wasting time on activities that offer little or no return toward your goals. Successful individuals are often distinguished not by working harder than others, but by working smarter, directing their efforts toward a clearly defined outcome. This focus creates momentum, and momentum is the force that carries you through challenges and resistance. Another critical aspect of definiteness of purpose is emotional involvement. When your purpose is definite, it ignites passion within you. Passion fuels perseverance, which is essential because obstacles will inevitably arise. A vague or lukewarm desire does not generate enough emotional energy to push through setbacks. Definite purpose, by contrast, stirs your emotions and connects your mind and heart to the mission, making your commitment unshakable. Clarity of purpose also helps to dispel fear and hesitation. When your goal is fuzzy, doubts creep in and paralyze you. You question your ability, the timing, or whether the goal is even attainable. But when your purpose is clearly defined, you can anticipate challenges and prepare for them. The clarity gives you confidence because you know exactly what you are working toward and why it matters. An important consequence of definiteness of purpose is the development of self-discipline. A clear purpose creates a framework for decision-making. Every choice can be evaluated based on whether it supports or detracts from your goal. This framework simplifies complex situations and helps you stay on track when distractions and temptations arise. Self-discipline, born from definiteness of purpose, becomes the invisible hand guiding your daily behavior. The law of attraction, a principle that states that like attracts like, operates most powerfully when your purpose is definite. The more specific and vivid your goal, the stronger the magnetic field you create around yourself. This attracts not only opportunities, but also the right people, mentors, partners, and allies who can help you reach your objective. A vague wish does not generate the same pull. It dissipates into the noise of everyday life. Moreover, the definiteness of purpose is the antidote to confusion and overwhelm. In today's world, with endless possibilities and distractions, it's easy to feel paralyzed by choice. But a clear purpose acts like a compass, providing direction and simplifying decisions. It narrows your focus to what truly matters, allowing you to conserve energy and maximize impact. The power of definiteness of purpose also lies in its ability to align your entire being, mind, body, and spirit toward a single end. When your purpose is well defined, you experience a sense of harmony and coherence. Your thoughts become focused, your emotions become energized, and your actions become deliberate. The deeper truth, this alignment creates a powerful force that propels you forward with efficiency and grace. Historical examples abound of individuals who achieved extraordinary success because they had an unwavering and definite purpose. Their clarity of vision was so strong that it influenced every decision they made, every risk they took, and every obstacle they overcame. Without exception, their definite purpose was the lodestar that guided them through uncertainty and difficulty, leading them to triumph. In contrast, those who wander through life without a purpose often find themselves at the mercy of circumstance. They drift from one opportunity to another, unable to build lasting momentum. The deeper truth, their efforts scattered and inconsistent, and as a result, their results remain elusive. In the end, definiteness of purpose is more than just a motivational concept. It is a practical necessity for achieving meaningful results. It is the foundation upon which all other principles rest. Without it, faith cannot find a target, action not find direction, and the subconscious mind cannot find clear instructions. With it, you possess the key that unlocks the door to all possibility. Within the depths of the human mind is a powerful and often overlooked force that plays a decisive role in shaping the outcomes of our lives. This force is the subconscious mind, the deeper and invisible but tireless worker that governs much of our behavior habits and ultimately our destiny. The understanding the role of subconscious programming is essential for anyone seeking to explain why results may be delayed or absent despite conscious effort and desire. The subconscious mind operates below the level of conscious awareness, yet it controls automatic functions such as breathing and heartbeat, as well as complex emotional reactions and habitual behaviors. What makes the subconscious particularly powerful is its ability to accept and act upon the dominant thoughts, beliefs, and impressions repeatedly fed into it by the conscious mind. It acts like fertile soil, ready to grow whatever seeds it receives, whether seeds of faith or seeds of doubt. Many fail to realize that their subconscious mind is constantly at work, whether they direct it consciously or not. This means that if you fill your mind with negative thoughts, fears, or limiting beliefs, your subconscious mind accepts these as truths and works to manifest experiences that align with those negative programs. This is why some people, despite their best conscious efforts, seem to struggle endlessly or attract failure and disappointment. On the other hand, when you intentionally impress your subconscious with positive, definite, and purposeful thoughts, it becomes your greatest ally. It directs your habits, decisions, and reactions to support the realization of your desires. This process happens silently but relentlessly, aligning your entire being with the outcome you have chosen. Subconscious programming happens through repetition and emotional intensity. The thoughts you dwell on most, especially those charged with strong emotions, are the ones that embed themselves deeply into your subconscious. This is why the quality of your mental diet, what you think about, read, listen to, and say, directly affects your subconscious programming. The deeper truth, your mind, when left unattended, will default to conditioning you have absorbed throughout life from your environment, upbringing, and experiences, which may not always support your goals. The subconscious mind is not equipped to judge or analyze. It simply accepts the information it receives and acts upon it. This means that the repeated belief, I am not good enough, or I always fail, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Conversely, the belief, I am capable and destined for success, programs your subconscious to steer you toward behaviors and decisions that foster achievement. A critical point often missed is that the subconscious cannot distinguish between actual events and vividly imagined ones. This is why visualization and affirmation, when practiced with emotional conviction and consistency, are powerful tools. By creating clear mental images of success and rehearsing positive statements, you communicate to the subconscious mind what you want to become your reality. Over time, this reprograms your automatic thoughts and instincts to align with your conscious goals. The subconscious also governs your habits, which are the building blocks of your daily life. Since habits are formed largely without conscious effort, They reflect the programming embedded within the subconscious. To change your results, you must change your habits, and to change your habits, you must first change your subconscious programming. This explains why effort alone is often not enough. If your subconscious remains programmed with limiting beliefs, your old habits will continue to sabotage your progress. Reprogramming the subconscious requires deliberate and sustained effort. It is not a matter of mere positive thinking, but of persistent, focused mental conditioning. Affirmations should be specific, in the present tense, and emotionally charged to bypass the conscious skepticism and impress the subconscious effectively. Likewise, visualization should be detailed and sensory-rich, involving not just images but sounds, feelings, and even smells associated with success. Another vital element is guarding the mind against negative influences. Surrounding yourself with negative people, consuming pessimistic media, or dwelling on fears undermines your subconscious programming. The subconscious absorbs these inputs and incorporates them into its operating system, thereby erecting barriers to success. Conversely, surrounding yourself with positive influences and focusing on uplifting, empowering content nurtures a subconscious environment conducive to achievement. The power of the subconscious is evident in the way it manifests what has been impressed upon it. It works behind the scenes to coordinate your thoughts, emotions, and actions toward the dominant belief. For example, the deep person with a deeply programmed belief in abundance will unconsciously seek opportunities, solve problems creatively, and take confident actions that bring success. The deeper person with programmed scarcity will tend to avoid risks, hesitate, and miss chances. The understanding this dynamic clarifies so many people experience a disconnect between what they consciously desire and what they actually achieve. Their conscious mind may intend success, but their subconscious mind, loaded with outdated, negative programming, undermines those intentions. It is like trying to drive a car while the brakes are partially engaged. Effort is wasted and progress slows. Therefore, aligning your conscious intentions with your subconscious programming is essential. This alignment creates a harmonious flow where your beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and actions all point in the same direction. When this happens, resistance diminishes, confidence grows, and results begin to materialize more naturally and swiftly. It is also important to recognize that subconscious programming is a lifelong process. While early life experiences plant many seeds, you retain the power to reprogram your mind at any stage. The mind is malleable, and with persistence, new patterns can replace old ones. This transformation often involves confronting fears and doubts, replacing them with empowering beliefs, and reinforcing those beliefs through repetition. The subconscious also influences your creative imagination, which is the workshop of the mind where ideas and plans take shape. A well-programmed subconscious enables you to harness imagination effectively, generating innovative solutions and attracting resources necessary for your purpose. A confused or negative subconscious blocks creativity and locks you into limiting thought patterns. In summary, the role of subconscious programming is fundamental to your ability to see results. It is the unseen architect behind your thoughts, emotions, habits, and actions, the deeper truth. Whether it works for you or against you depends on the nature of the mental impressions you feed it. The deeper truth, mastery over your subconscious mind, transforms it from a silent saboteur into your greatest ally on the path to success. One of the most misunderstood truths in the pursuit of any worthy goal is the idea that progress is always visible. This belief is a dangerous illusion. It leads countless individuals to give up just before their breakthrough arrives, to abandon their work prematurely, and to doubt the process that is, in fact, working in their favor. Invisible progress, the kind that cannot be measured by immediate results or external signs, is often the most crucial stage of all. It is during this time that the law of gestation is at work, shaping, refining, and preparing the outcome to manifest in full measure. The law of gestation is as real and certain as the law of gravity. It states that every process of growth, whether in nature and business, in personal development, or in the unfolding of a dream, requires a fixed and definite period of development before results can be seen. You do not plant a seed in the soil today and expect a tree tomorrow. The deeper taught conceive an idea and expect its full materialization the next day. There is a period between inception and manifestation, a quiet interval where forces beyond your conscious perception are aligning to produce the result. This law is evident in every corner of nature. The seed buried in the ground does not shout its progress. It does not offer daily updates to the gardener. Yet beneath the soil, invisible to the human eye, profound transformation is taking place. Roots are forming, cells are dividing. Life is awakening. Eventually, when the time is right, the seed breaks through the surface, seemingly all at once. But its emergence is not the beginning of growth. It is the result of steady, invisible progress that was happening all along. In the same way, when you plant an idea, a goal, or a purpose in your mind and nourish it with faith, definiteness, and action, it too enters a period of gestation. This period is marked by what may appear to be silence or stagnation. Days pass, weeks pass, sometimes months, with little to show for your labor. The untrained mind interprets this as failure. But to the individual who understands the law of gestation, this period is not failure but formation. It is the necessary season during which the unseen foundation is being laid. Invisible progress challenges the ego because the ego seeks recognition, reward, and reassurance. It wants immediate gratification. It craves evidence. But success is not obligated to arrive on your timeline. It arrives in its proper season. If you demand fruit before the tree has matured, you will disrupt the natural cycle and destroy the harvest. Patience, then, is not weakness. It is power under control. It is the ability to hold your vision steady, even when your eyes see nothing. During this gestation period, your task is not to measure progress by appearances, but to continue acting in alignment with your purpose. The quality of your faith is tested most intensely during these silent seasons. It is easy to believe when results are flowing. It is divine to believe when nothing seems to be happening. This kind of belief is what transforms a man or woman into a creative force. It is the mark of someone who has matured in their understanding of how success unfolds. The truth is, even when you cannot see progress, the deeper being shaped by the process, you are being stretched, refined, disciplined. You are becoming the kind of person who can sustain the success once it arrives. Often, the delay in results is not because the outcome is not ready, but because you are not ready to receive it. The universe is never in a hurry, but it is always exact. Nothing is delayed without purpose. Every pause has intention. Every silence contains instruction. Invisible progress also purges the weak intentions. When someone pursues a goal only for shallow reasons, they often give up during the gestation phase. The desire was not rooted in deep conviction. But the individual who continues through the invisible stage, despite the absence of applause or recognition, is the one whose purpose is strong enough to withstand resistance. This person does not need external validation to confirm internal direction. They are guided not by what they see, but by what they know. The law of gestation demands that you trust timing. Trust is not passive, it is active obedience to the process. It means continuing your efforts with the same intensity and belief, that even when the world gives no sign of reward, each day of focused effort adds to the invisible foundation. Each repetition, each disciplined choice, each moment of perseverance becomes part of the structure that will one day rise into the visible world. To the mind that understands this law, apparent stillness becomes sacred. It is not wasted time, but creative preparation. Think of an iceberg, only a fraction is visible above the surface, but its true mass lies beneath. So it is with your goal, what you see. The outcome, the reward, the result is only the tip. The greater part, the real substance, was formed during the period you thought nothing was happening. Moreover, the gestation period protects the vision. If success arrived prematurely, before the idea was mature or before you were prepared, it could easily collapse under pressure. True success is sustainable only when it emerges from complete readiness. The gestation phase ensures this readiness. It develops character. It reveals flaws. It builds resilience. It strengthens the foundation so that what eventually appears can stand firm. The danger for most people lies in abandoning the process midway. They confuse the quiet with failure. They mistake delay for denial. But just as a farmer does not dig up the seed to check if it is growing, you must resist the urge to interrupt the process with doubt. If you have planted your goal with clarity and nourished it with belief and action, then the invisible progress is assured. It is taking place beyond your immediate senses, but it is real nonetheless. This is why discipline and daily action are vital during the gestation period. Every consistent act reinforces the mental signal sent to the subconscious and the universe that you are serious, committed, and unwavering. Each step taken without visible return deepens your spiritual and mental investment in the outcome. This investment in time yields a return beyond what casual effort could ever produce. The deeper the law will not be cheated. It rewards according to effort, belief, and timing, not impatience or entitlement. In the journey toward any significant achievement, the experience of defeat is not only inevitable, but also indispensable. Defeat, when understood correctly, the deeper truth, is not a final judgment, but a critical test, a proving ground where your commitment to your purpose is challenged and refined. The idea of temporary defeat holds profound significance because it is in these moments of apparent failure that the seeds of ultimate success are often sown. Those who recognize and endure temporary defeat without surrender develop the resilience, wisdom, and strength necessary to transform setbacks into stepping stones. The nature of temporary defeat is that it is not permanent. It is a pause, a detour, a moment of difficulty that calls for courage rather than despair. The individuals who quit at the first sign of defeat fail to appreciate this truth, and as a result, they miss the opportunity to grow through adversity. Defeat is only final when it is accepted as such. Otherwise, it is a temporary state, a challenge to be overcome, and an essential part of the process toward achievement. This test of temporary defeat examines the quality of your faith and your persistence. Faith, the deeper truth in this context, is not blind optimism, but a confident expectation based on definite purpose and clear vision. The deep truth, it is the inner assurance that your efforts are not in vain and that every setback is a lesson leading you closer to your goal. When temporary defeat strikes, faith is the anchor that prevents your mind from drifting into despair or hopelessness. Without faith, defeat becomes a stopping point. With faith, it becomes a catalyst for renewed effort. Persistence is the practical application of faith. It is the repeated decision to continue moving forward despite obstacles, rejections, and apparent failures. Persistence separates those who ultimately achieve from those who fall short. Many give up just before the breakthrough, unable to endure the weight of defeat. But the test of temporary defeat reveals the resolve of those who will not be deterred by difficulties. They understand that the path to success is rarely straight and smooth. Instead, it is filled with curves, ups and downs, and moments that test their commitment. The history of every great achievement is filled with stories of individuals who faced multiple defeats before triumphing. These defeats were not signs of inadequacy, but necessary phases of growth and preparation. Each temporary defeat taught them something vital about themselves, their methods, or their goals. It forced them to adapt, to reconsider strategies, and to deepen their understanding of what was required. In this way, defeat serves as a teacher, guiding you away from errors and toward more effective approaches. Moreover, the test of temporary defeat is a test of your emotional and mental strength. It is easy to maintain enthusiasm and determination when everything goes well. Deeper truth. The real challenge is to maintain these qualities when confronted with failure and discouragement. The deeper truth, this requires cultivating a mindset that views defeat not as a reflection of personal worth or permanent circumstance, but as a natural part of the process. The deeper truth requires detaching your identity from temporary outcomes and holding fast to your higher purpose. Understanding the transient nature of defeat also involves recognizing that every setback contains an opportunity disguised in difficulty. Temporary defeat forces you to pause and reflect. It gives you the chance to reassess your plan, to identify weaknesses, and to gather new resources. Those who fail to pass this test see only the obstacle, while those who pass see the opportunity for growth. The deeper truth in perspective transforms defeat from a stopping point into a stepping stone. The test also evaluates your level of commitment. Temporary defeat reveals whether your desire for success is strong enough to endure hardship. Many people desire success superficially. They want the rewards but are unwilling to endure the trials. But true success requires the willingness to pay the price, including enduring failure and disappointment. Temporary defeat tests this willingness, separating the genuinely committed from the casual dreamers. In addition, this test challenges your ability to learn and grow. Temporary defeat provides valuable feedback. It exposes flaws in your plan or character that must be addressed. Those who are humble and open to learning use defeat as a mirror to see where change is needed. They embrace failure as a necessary step toward mastery. Conversely, deeper, those who ignore these lessons risk repeating the same mistakes, prolonging their struggle unnecessarily. A critical aspect of overcoming temporary defeat is the development of resilience, the capacity to bounce back from setbacks stronger and wiser. Resilience is not an innate trait possessed by a fortunate few, but a skill cultivated through experience and conscious effort. Each defeat endured and overcome builds resilience, creating a foundation of strength that supports future efforts. This foundation makes the difference between those who ultimately succeed and those who become discouraged and quit. The test of temporary defeat also serves to strengthen your character. It instills patience, humility, and perseverance, qualities essential to sustain success. Patience teaches you to wait for results in due time without frustration. Humility reminds you that setbacks are opportunities for growth, not threats to your ego. Perseverance fuels your continued effort when the path seems most difficult. Another critical element is the role of support and encouragement during defeat. While the test is ultimately personal, the presence of mentors, friends, or like-minded individuals can bolster your resolve. Encouragement acts like a beacon, reminding you of your worth and your potential when your own confidence wavers. Those who surround themselves with positive influences are more likely to endure the test of temporary defeat and emerge stronger. Importantly, the test of temporary defeat reveals the power of mindset. It highlights the difference between a fixed mindset, which sees failure as a permanent limitation, and a growth mindset, which sees failure as a temporary and necessary stage of learning. Those with a growth mindset embrace defeat as a challenge to be overcome rather than a judgment on their abilities. This mindset fosters resilience and innovation, enabling individuals to find new paths when old ones are blocked. Finally, the experience of temporary defeat humbles the spirit, keeping success in proper perspective. It reminds you that no achievement is guaranteed or easily won. This humility guards arrogance and complacency, qualities that can sabotage long-term success. By passing the test of temporary defeat, the deeper truth about not only success but also the wisdom and maturity to sustain it. The deeper, there is no force more potent in shaping a person's destiny than faith. Faith applied persistently, unwaveringly, and without compromise. Not the fleeting hope that dances in and out of the mind during moments of comfort, but the enduring belief that stands firm when all evidence seems to contradict the vision. Persistent faith is the inner knowing that what you desire is not only possible but inevitable, provided you remain aligned with your purpose and act consistently in its direction. It is the fuel that transforms thought in action and action into result. Every great accomplishment began as a single thought held in the mind of an individual who chose to believe. Long before there was anything visible to justify that belief, persistent faith is what bridges the chasm between the invisible and the tangible. It operates not by sight, but by vision. The vision is the spiritual blueprint of what is to come. Faith is the conviction that this blueprint is valid, that it already exists in the realm of potential, and that your continued belief and action will summon it into physical form. The power of persistent faith lies in its refusal to bend to the fluctuations of circumstance. It is the opposite of wishful thinking, which depends on convenience and disappears at the first sign of resistance. Persistent faith is anchored deep within the subconscious, cultivated through repetition, meditation, and conscious reinforcement. It is fed by purpose and protected by definiteness. It does not flinch when the path grows steep or the days grow long. Instead, it thrives in adversity, for it recognizes that every obstacle is part of the proving ground. Persistent faith aligns the subconscious with the goal, causing the mind to act as a magnet, drawing toward itself the people, circumstances, and opportunities necessary for the fulfillment of the desire. The subconscious cannot distinguish between a thought believed to be true and one that is actually true. It simply accepts what is repeated with emotion, belief, and certainty. Persistent faith instructs the subconscious mind through consistency, imprinting it with the command to seek and create the conditions that match the image held in consciousness. Faith, to be persistent, must be reinforced daily. It must be spoken, written, visualized, and felt. Words have power, and the repetition of affirmations with emotional conviction impresses the mind with certainty. Visualizing the outcome as if it were already real strengthens the inner connection to the goal. Emotion adds the energy necessary to embed belief into the subconscious. Persistent faith is not a one-time decision. It is a daily discipline, an ongoing relationship with one's higher purpose and inner knowing. Challenges will arise, and in those moments, persistent faith becomes more than belief. It becomes a spiritual weapon. It silences the voices of doubt and fear that seek to unravel progress. It reminds you of the truth behind appearances. The external world may not yet reflect your inner vision, but faith assures you that your efforts are not in vain. It becomes the voice that says continue when the world says quit. It is the compass that points forward when your emotions tempt you to retreat. One of the greatest tragedies is that many individuals begin their journey with faith but fail to sustain it. They allow the slow pace of results or the criticisms of others to erode their confidence. The deeper truth, they confuse delay with denial, that obstacles mean misdirection. But the truth is, persistent faith does not guarantee ease. It guarantees reward for those who endure. It is precisely the persistence of faith that produces maturity, strength, and a deeper connection to the outcome. Success cannot be separated from belief, and belief must be sustained through persistent attention and action. Persistent faith also serves as protection from the corrosive influence of negative suggestion. The world is filled with voices that project fear, doubt, and limitation. Without a firmly rooted belief in your own vision, you are vulnerable to these influences. But persistent faith acts as armor. It deflects criticism, neutralizes skepticism, and repels fear. It keeps your mental environment clean, fertile, and focused on creation rather than destruction. In moments of uncertainty, the individual of persistent faith turns inward rather than outward. The deeper turn to the clarity of their desire and the purpose that fuels it. They review their vision, reinforce their commitment, and renew their inner strength. This is not stubbornness, but conscious mastery of the inner world. It is the ability to choose your focus despite circumstances, to elevate your thoughts when the world would pull them down, and to act from truth rather than emotion. Persistent faith also transforms failure into feedback. It does not interpret defeat as a sign to quit, but as a signal to adjust. The individual with faith understands that the outcome is certain, even if the method must evolve. They are not attached to how success must unfold. They are only committed to its fulfillment. This flexibility, guided by unwavering belief, allows them to navigate detours without losing direction. They remain adaptable yet anchored, a combination that leads to creative problem solving and eventual triumph. There is also a compounding effect to persistent faith. With each day that belief is maintained, momentum builds, energy accumulates, mental clarity increases. The bond between the inner vision and the outer result becomes stronger. Eventually, faith reaches a tipping point where it transcends belief and becomes certainty. At this point, actions are no longer burdened by hesitation or fear. They are performed with calm confidence, knowing that the goal is no longer a matter of if, but when. Persistent faith is the great equalizer, the deeper truth. The matter is not where a person begins in life, their background, resources, or current conditions. The deeper truth. What matters is the depth of their belief in what they can become and their determination to hold that belief through every challenge. There are countless stories of individuals who began with nothing more than an idea and an unwavering conviction in its reality. Their success was not the result of luck or circumstance. but the inevitable consequence of belief made persistent. To cultivate such faith requires discipline of thought. The mind must be guarded against fear and aligned with truth. Negative truth thoughts must be replaced deliberately, not passively observed. Association must be selective, for those who lack faith will unconsciously sabotage yours. The environment of the mind must be treated like a sacred space. Free of weeds, filled with vision, nourished by affirmations and maintained through consistent action. Persistent faith grows best in such soil, and in time yields the fruits of its labor. The journey towards success is neither quick nor easy, but it is assured for those who understand and apply these timeless principles. The invisible progress unfolds beneath the surface. The law of gestation patiently shapes your vision, and temporary defeats test the strength of your commitment. Through it all, persistent faith serves as the unshakable foundation, transforming doubt into certainty and obstacles into opportunities. Remember, results are not withheld as punishment, but delayed as preparation. The unseen work you do today is the silent architect of tomorrow's triumph. So stand firm in your purpose, nurture your faith daily, and meet every challenge with resilience and unwavering belief. The moment you begin to truly understand this process, you shift from being a mere dreamer to becoming the master of your destiny. Your success is already growing beneath the surface. Keep faith alive. The deeper truth, keep acting with purpose, and watch as what once seemed impossible unfolds in its perfect time.